Freeze hits it in the air to center. We will see you tomorrow night.
8 pitches been the magic one time. This time he hits the ball to deep right field. Cody Bellinger has done it, and the Dodgers win in Game 7.
1-1 for Thompson. Batista with a drive. Deep left field. No doubt about it.
Welcome back to Chasing 2. I'm Dylan Smith with my co-host right here, Blake Byers. Today is the NL East prediction. It's the best division in baseball by far. Blake, let's jump into it. Let's get into the subtractions for the Marlins.
Yeah, so Ryan Stanek, non-tendered by the Marlins. Jose Urena, non-tendered by the Marlins. They lost Matt Joyce, Brad Boxberger, Jordan Yamamoto, and Brandon Kinsler. Why don't you go over who they brought in?
Yeah, they got Adam Duvall. That was their big bat. He's very underrated. He's got some pop. Anthony Bass in the bullpen. Dylan Floro in a trade with the Dodgers. Very underrated arm.
Yep.
Adam Simber got traded to the Marlins, and then they just recently signed Gio Gonzalez as a rotational depth piece.
Yeah.
That lineup, on paper, it doesn't look too strong, but last year that's
a lot of people.
They made the playoffs, so it's pretty much the same. Other than Duvall, we got Jorge Alfaro, Jesus Aguilar, Jazz Chisholm possibly getting ready to play at the MLB level.
Yep.
Brian Anderson at third, Miguel Rojas at short, Corey Dickerson in left, Starling Marte in center, and then Adam Duvall in right field.
So for me, like, getting Starling Marte is huge for the Marlins. I was really surprised that the Diamondbacks gave up on him so quick into that contract. I think Starling Marte is a great piece to go along with Brian Anderson. Like you mentioned, Chisholm, Garrett Cooper, he might get some time at first base too. With Jesus Aguilar, they're pitching. Sandy I don't know how to say that. How do you say that? Alcantara, not very good with names like that. Sixto Sanchez came up and pitched some last year. Pablo Lopez, Eliza Hernandez, Trevor Rogers, the bullpen, Simber, Dylan Floro, Anthony Bass. I like the addition of Anthony Bass. Good for him. He went to the Blue Jays last year on a minor league contract, pitched his butt off, and he earned himself an MLB deal. So hats off to him. Great that he is back on his feet in the MLB. Obviously, the Marlins aren't making the playoffs. I mean, you could say, can they replicate last year? I don't know, man. But this division, in my opinion, is just too good. I think that the Marlins have some good young pieces that that they can build for. Like, I think that Jazz Chisholm's gonna be the starting second base, and he's a big part of that future for the Marlins. But I mean, when you look at, you got the Phillies, you got the Nationals, the Mets, the Braves. Like, I think this division is just a little too good for the Marlins right now.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, the pitching's pretty good. I think you can match up with almost any rotation in the NL East. I mean, and I mean that when I say that. I mean, Alcantara and Sixto Sanchez are pretty elite arms. Yeah. Obviously, Sixto Sanchez had a little bit of a coming out party last year.
Yep.
But you're right. I mean, on paper, I don't think this is a playoff team. I don't think any baseball fan would sit here and say this is a playoff team. But they made the playoffs last year, and many teams didn't. So we'll see what happens. I think we're still a whiles away, but at least they got some playoff experience last year.
Yep. Let's go over to the Phillies. We didn't tell us what we ranked the Marlins. We ranked the Marlins 23rd. So they're not like sellers of the MLB, but I mean, they're kind of in that mid 20. The Phillies
having some technical difficulties over here.
It's all right. The Phillies we ranked them 15th. They lost Jonathan Lucroy, David Robertson, David Phelps, Jake Arrieta, Jay Bruce, Cole Irvin, who they moved in the trade, Blake Parker, Heath Hembry, Brandon Workman, Tommy Hunter, and Jose Alvarez. So they lost a lot, but I mean, when you looked at the Phillies last year, their bullpen was historically bad, and they made some moves to improve that this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, they I mean, Archie Bradley's going to be a good pickup. Jose Alvarado, they got him in the trade. Hector Rondon, he had some time with the Cubs. Obviously, Brian Kinsler. So we'll see. They
On
also
paper, it
got
doesn't
Tony
look
Watson.
bad. Doesn't look bad on
The
paper.
names are notable.
Yeah, for
They're
sure.
notable.
Can they perform though?
Yeah, I
That's
don't
the
know.
That's the biggest. Once you continue with the additions, they did bring a lot
Yeah,
of people back.
they got Brad Miller, who actually had a decent year with the Cardinals.
Yep.
I feel like he's very hit or miss, but Jeff Mathis, wow, I can't believe he's still in the league.
I know. That's crazy.
Matt Moore, it's gonna be you gotta catch lightning in a
A
bottle.
miracle to bounce back.
Exactly. Didi, he re-signed. Chase Anderson for a rotational piece. He didn't do much with the Jays last year.
A whole lot of nothing.
They brought back JT Realmuto.
Yep.
Travis Jankowski, Matt Joyce. So a lot of vets. It's a very veteran-centered team. I'm not surprised with them, getting Dave Dombrowski as their GM. Not surprised that they would just add a whole bunch of vets and see what happens.
So the thing for me is you look at this Phillies team on paper compared to last year. Did they even get better? I don't think. Like you look at this team, I don't think they got better. I mean, they just
they did.
Still, they brought back Real Muto, they brought back Gregorius. They're literally in the same spot as they were last year. I mean,
McCutcheon's coming back. We'll see.
But he's getting old. So Segura, he's getting up there. I mean, can Alec Bohm break out?
I think the answer is yes to that question.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be the real deal. I mean, obviously you got Harper and Wright, Rice Hoskins at first base, Segura at second, Bohm at third, Didi at short, Rome Quinn.
I mean, Abdul Herrera
and Abdul Herrera too. So, why don't you go over this starting five? I mean, it's not nothing to.
I mean, you got Nola and Wheeler at the top. That's
after that it drops off significantly.
I mean, there was rumors they're players for Odorizzi. If they get Odorizzi, then I'm looking at this three. Like, hey,
solid.
You really just need three solid pitchers at the top half. After that, you can piece it together. I feel like many playoff teams just have a solid three. But then you got Zach Eflin, Matt Moore, and Chase Anderson. So, it's nothing special, but can they compete for a wild card? I think they got the star power for it. But other than that, this isn't a rotation that I'm putting even top 15.
The bullpen on paper looks okay. I mean, the names are good, like you mentioned. Like if you're to pick a closer out of this bunch, who would you give it to at a camp? Probably Archie Bradley.
Probably Archie Bradley. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Kinsler was good with Miami last year, and he was good on the Twins too. But I mean, who has the better stuff? It would be Archie Bradley at the end of the day. I mean, Kinsler's more of a soft throwing righty, so it's a spot guy.
We'll go to the Nationals. We got them ranked 12th in baseball. The notable subtractions: Eric Thames went to Japan. Howie Kendrick, what a great career he had. He hangs them up. One of your favorite players of all time. Sean Doolittle, Adam Eaton, Kurt Suzuki, Brock Holt, Abdul Cabrera, Michael Taylor, Anibal Sanchez, and Will Crow. Why don't you go over the additions that they brought in?
Yeah, I mean, they added Jeremy Jefferson to that bullpen. That's going to be a pretty good piece. John Lester, I think he's already he had a thyroid issue, I believe, but they said it was only going to take him out for a week, so that's good. Josh Bell, big trade they did. What is he going to be? Yep. We could see all-star Josh Bell, or we could just see another average first baseman out there. Hopefully it's the all-star version because that makes his team a lot better. Brad Hand, his velocity's down, but he's still one of the best relievers in the game.
Yep.
Kyle Schwarber, another guy they want to get right, see if he could hit a bunch of bombs. Ryan Zimmerman re-signed after not playing last season. He's basically just gonna be a bench bat.
Yep.
Alex Avila signed to be their backup catcher. They signed Hernan Perez as some infield depth. Gerardo Parra, Baby Shark is back. As some outfield depth, and then Justin Miller for some bullpen depth.
So let's go over this rotation. Or sorry, the lineup. Yan Gomes catcher. You're gonna have Josh Bell at first, Starlin Castro at second, Carter Kieboom, another guy who could possibly break out this year. At third base, Trey Turner at short. You got Kyle Schwarber in left, Victor Robles in center field, and Juan Soto is going to make the position change from left over to right field this year with Schwarber coming in. On paper, this lineup looks really scary. Has the potential to be scary. That's what I mean to say.
Yeah. I mean, Josh Bell, Turner is he burns on the bases.
Yep.
He's elite.
Soto
is
best hitters in baseball.
top 5 player in baseball.
Yeah.
So those three, and then there's
and if Schwarber can hit you tanks, if Kieboom can break out, all of a sudden, like it's a really good offense.
Yeah, I would agree. I just there's some holes. I think it could be a lot deeper. Obviously, losing Anthony Rendon, last season, that really hurt them. But they're trying. They're trying to get back there. This is Scherzer's last year of his deal. We'll get on the rotation there. Scherzer, Strasburg, Corbin, Lester, and Joe Ross. This is Scherzer's last year of his deal.
Yep.
I don't see him re-signing. He'll be 37. They've already got big money put into Strasburg, big money into Corbin. What I'm thinking is, hey, why not put Trey Turner back into center field?
Yeah.
And why not go get a Lindor, Seager, Story, Correa, Avi, Simmons, not Simmons, but there's shortstops out there that you can make this lineup a lot deeper and make it a World Series team again.
I think that how you said about the East, how there might only be one team.
Yeah. About the AL East.
Yeah. I think this is a division that could have 3 teams in the playoffs.
Yeah. 100%.
Because the Nationals, if the Nationals are in the Central, they're probably first place team, no?
And the
NL Central, like if they're in the NL Central, they're probably finishing first.
They got the best pitching in the division. That's for sure.
So that's why if I was a Nationals fan, I would have hoped to make the playoffs because you got one of the best staffs on paper. You got a pretty decent lineup, and in your bullpen, you got Brad Hand, Daniel Hudson, who closed out the World Series a couple years ago, and Will Harris. Like pretty solid arms back there in the pen. So, this is definitely the best third place team in the division in baseball.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I want to say they make the playoffs, but it's really, I'm really on the fence with them.
Yeah.
I mean, they got the pitching, they got the star power. It's just the depth pieces for me. Injuries are going to happen for every team. Yeah. So you got to look at the depth of, what do we have to back that up? And I don't know that, the Nationals have enough to, if Scherzer gets hurt, yeah, we got Strasburg and Corbin, but who's taking that 5th spot every day?
Yep.
And that's where I'm concerned. And then also just the infield depth. I mean, it's not great. It isn't.
But I mean,
I think they're close. I think in 2 years, if they spend well on free agency, then there's a chance for them to be one of the best teams.
So when they won the World Series, right? Nobody predicted them to win the World Series that year, right?
No, but all the other years they did.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a year where there was no expectations. Obviously, they lost Rendon, who was the heart and soul of that team. But
yeah,
Juan Soto, I mean, he's turning into that type of player already, right? So I mean,
he's already there.
His breakout is great for the Nationals. It's a pleasant surprise for them to see.
Yeah, Bryce Harper, who is basically what they're saying.
Yeah, so they won without him, which is crazy. So I never would have thought in a million years that the first year that Bryce Harper leaves, they win the World Series. That's crazy to me. But they did it. Let's talk about the New York Mets. A lot of people are on this hype train. This is one of the most active teams in baseball. I mean, you look at the long list of subtractions. We'll be talking for 20 minutes if we just do this, but they lost Steven Matz to the Blue Jays, Cespedes, Robinson Chirinos, Wilson Ramos, Jake Marisnik, Michael Waka, Todd Frazier, Hunter Strickland, Jed Lowry, Arezzo Ramirez, Rene Rivera, Rick Porcello, Justin Wilson, Eduardo Nunez, Ahmed Rosario, who went to Cleveland in that Francisco Lindor trade, and Brad Brock. A long list of subtractions and even longer lists for additions. Why don't you go over those?
Yep. Obviously, we got Frankie Lindor coming in to be the guy. We'll see if they extend him.
Yeah.
Kevin Pillar, Taijuan Walker, Jonathan VR, Khalil Lee in the trade with in the Benintendi trade. Actually,
Yep. Three-way trade.
They jumped in as a third team. Jordan Yamamoto, Aaron Loop, Joey Lucchesi, Brandon Drury, Carlos Carrasco, who's going to be very underrated.
Yep.
James McCann, Trevor May, Malik Smith, Jerry Blevins, Jose Martinez, Sean Reed Foley, Blake Sky, and Caleb Joseph, another one of Blake's guys.
Aaron Loop's also my guy. You forgot to say that. Oh my God. This team definitely got a lot better. The owner said that was on social media raving about he's got money to spend, and he was a man of his word. I mean, when you go out and get Lindor, they gave James McCann a pretty good contract. I think they gave him $80 million, something like that. They brought in Trevor May. I like that. They brought in a lot of good depth pieces, right? Like Taijuan Walker's a good back end of the rotation guy. Kevin Pillar is a good outfielder, and he hit well in when he went over to Colorado last year. So we'll see if he can continue that success. But I mean, you look at this lineup. There's a couple holes. I mean, you got McCann at catcher, Pete Alonso at first base. Jonathan Villar is really your starting second baseman. Like,
I think McNeil will start there.
Well, who's playing left field?
Dwight Smith Jr., right? Or not Dwight Smith.
Dominic Smith.
Dominic Smith.
So
I think he'll play in the outfield because you have to put his bat in the lineup.
Yeah, he's a good bat. Okay, so he'll play left field. Okay, so we'll move McNeil to second base.
I'd say VR's on the bench.
Okay.
McNeil's at second, and we're sticking
JD Davis
Smith
at third. Pillar and Nimmo as platoon and center, Michael Conforto. So I take that back. There's not that many holes. I mean, maybe you could upgrade third base. Would you agree there?
I like JD Davis. I think he's
okay.
Mean, if you're gonna have to bite the bullet on one position and it has to be JD Davis, I mean, I'm not mad about it.
Okay. So yeah, I take that back. Originally I thought might be some holes in this lineup, but on paper this lineup actually is not that bad.
No, it's not bad. I think the outfield could be better.
Outfield could be a little bit better.
They tried for Springer. Apparently they tried for JBJ. Or I guess they just walked away from JBJ. I'm not sure about that, but
yeah, they moved on to Kevin Pillar.
They missed out on a lot of free agents. They missed out on a lot.
But they
missed out on Bauer, obviously. Sorry, Mets fans. I know that's sensitive.
But you missed out on Bauer,
and Springer and Real Muto.
Okay, but did they need Trevor Bauer? I don't think they.
I wouldn't say I don't think they needed him, but they swung and missed on a lot of free agents.
They did.
Take away Francisco Lindor.
Yeah,
that
would be a pretty bad offseason.
Take out Lindor, plug in Ahmed Rosario, and tell me, does this team still look as good?
No, because Lindor raises the level, right?
100%.
He's the guy.
All I'm saying, my point being by that, that's obvious, is that they didn't make any free agent acquisitions that were
game changers.
Exactly. That was my point behind that. Obviously, Lindor is going to escalate your team.
Yeah.
But if you took him out of there, and you took Carrasco out of there, and if they didn't make any trades, and the free agent market was all they did, and they got McCann and they got Taiwan Walker,
I'm not looking at it the same way.
no, 100%.
So, I mean, let's go over their rotation. Why don't you hop into the starting five?
Yeah, it's nasty. You got DeGrom, Carrasco, Stroman, Taiwan Walker, and then Noah Syndergaard's going to be back.
I put Stroman on here twice. Sorry for messing you up. You were looking at
no problem about that. Noah Syndergaard's going to be back.
Yep.
They got Joey Lucchesi, like I said. They have somebody else that I can't think of right now. That's
they have David
Peterson.
David Peterson.
Seth
Seth Lugo started some games for them.
Yeah, but I think he's gonna go back to the pen. I saw. Not sure. But
their pen
depth.
On paper is disgusting. Evan Diaz, Trevor May, Seth Lugo, Dylan Betances, and David Peterson's probably going to slide into that pen because, I mean, like you said, you got DeGrom, Carrasco, Syndergaard, Stroman, and Walker up front in your rotation. So
Syndergaard will be back mid-season, just to note that.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, so Peterson will probably start the rotation.
He'll be there for now.
This team could be very scary.
It could be good, or it could be really bad.
We have them ranked eighth. So
yeah. I mean, the rotation alone, if just give me a bunch of scrubs, I'm thinking this team can compete for a playoff spot just based off the pitching.
What are they going to be winning? A lot of 2-1 games, 3-1 games, 3-2 games.
Hey, DeGrom's never got.
He's never gotten run support
anyway. So
yeah, he knows all about pitching with no run support. So on paper, this team doesn't look bad.
No, they're good.
This team's good.
The depth is bad. The depth is really bad.
Like like you said, if like Lindor, heaven forbid, like I hope it doesn't happen. Like if McNeil or go down, this team could be in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, and then you slide Jonathan VR in there, and we know VR cannot fill the ball to save his life.
He is so bad. I mean, I think with the Blue Jays, he made like 6 errors in like 15 games. It was awful.
So I'm not, like I said, I'm really more on the side of this team's going to be good.
Yeah.
But obviously, with every team, you lose a star player, there's going to be a big impact to your lineup. But I think this is a team specifically that cannot lose a star.
Yep.
Like if DeGrom goes down, can Stroman, Carrasco, and Taiwan Walker hold down the fort? I want to say my gut says yes, but
that's a big question. It's a big question. Let's go to the Braves, the final team we're going to talk about in the National League East. We got them ranked number 4 in baseball, rightfully so. This team took the Dodgers to Game 7 in the NLCS last year with some banged up pitching. Who am I thinking of here? Mike Soroka. He tore his Achilles.
And Cole Hamels barely pitched.
Cole Hamels barely pitched. So let's go over the subtractions here first. Adam Duvall was non-tendered. Mike Fulton Evanich was let go. Felix Hernandez, who didn't play last year. Darren O'Day had a team option that was not picked up. Shane Green, surprisingly, still out there. Still a free agent.
I don't know what that's weird.
Still going to be picked up. Nick Markakis, I think that's going to be a big loss for the Braves. Mark Melanson and Cole Hamels, who also is still a free agent out there. Why don't you go over who they brought in?
Yeah, they got Jake Lamb, some insurance over there at third. Jason Kipnis, insurance in the middle infield.
Yep.
They re-signed Marcell Ozuna. Obviously, there's going to be no DH in the National League, so they're going to have to play him in the outfield. You don't love that, but you hope that the universal DH comes next season.
Deal, and I'm thinking the Braves are more likely thinking that he's going to be a DH in the last 3, right? Hopefully.
Well, if I was signing him in the National League, I would be thinking that, right? So, Charlie Morton is coming to aid that rotation. Drew Smyly had a decent year last year. He was signed at the very beginning of the offseason.
Yep.
And some depth moves. You got Ryan Goins, Terrence Gore, Carl Edwards Jr., and Pablo Sandoval. So not too busy of an offseason. But if you're adding Morton in there against Soroka back, obviously you have Ian Anderson, you got Max Fried. The rotation, the top 4 is looking pretty heavy.
Yeah, it is.
And then you slide Drew Smyly in the back side of that. So that's your starting 5. Fried, Morton, Soroka, Anderson, Smiley. And the lineup's even more disgusting. I mean, go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah, you got Travis Chano, who had a really good season last year. Freddie Freeman, MVP at National League last year. Ozzie Albies at second. Austin Riley third. Base, Dansby Swanson at second. Marcel Ozuna, like you mentioned, is back on a 4-year deal and left. Christian Pache in center, and you got Ronald Acuna, who's going to go over to right field this year. So yeah, on paper, this team is super good. I mean,
Yeah, and I mean Dansby's really grown as a shortstop
has.
in this league. I mean,
He
he's
has.
defensively, he's pretty. I mean, when they got rid of Simmons, and they've been kind of searching for that shortstop, Dansby stepped up. I mean, Dansby's making those strides. Albies, he's kind of struggling being a switch hitter, so we'll see if they can he can figure that out this year. But then you got Freeman and Acuna. I mean, Freeman's the reigning MVP. Acuna is electric. I mean, you talk about Soto and Acuna, they're hand in hand. And then this bullpen. I mean, you got Chris Martin and Will Smith. You lost Melanson. And you lost Shane Green. So that's kind of gonna make it take a step back. But, I think it's gonna be okay. I still think this is the best team in the National League East. Obviously, we ranked them 4th in baseball.
Yep.
I think this team's got the experience now.
Yeah.
Over the past
they
couple
were
years.
1 win away from going to the World Series. So
Yeah.
And they really didn't get worse. I mean, they lost some pieces. I mean, they lost some pieces in the bullpen. Melanson, Green, O'Day. Big losses in that pen. But I mean, Chris Martin, Will Smith still back there. I mean, you're getting Soroka. I love the addition of Charlie Morton. I think that could be the one of the best signings for any team. 1 year, $15 million deal, right? So do you think this team could win? Do you think this team could compete with the Dodgers again and do what they did last year?
100%. Yes.
So yeah,
but I also think they added the deadline.
Yeah, I mean, Alex Anthopoulos, he makes those splashes. We talked about that all the time. So
I mean, this team is literally
a couple pieces away.
I'm trying to think of like a realistic trade piece. Maybe the Astros fall out of it because they have injury issues and they added a Zach Greinke.
Yeah.
And you got Fried, Greinke, Morton, Soroka, and Anderson.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it.
I could see that too.
They'll be adding to that pen at deadline time.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe they bring back Shane Green back. I don't know. That'll do it for the NL East breakdown. We got 2 more divisions to go over, the AL Central and the NL Central. Just to recap, we got the Braves 4th best, the Mets 8th best, the Nationals 12th best, the Phillies number 15, and we got the Marlins 23rd. So appreciate you guys for listening, and stay tuned for the Central Division breakdowns.
Yep, take care, guys.